80% of businesses aren't in business within 5 years.
Yeah, I know.
So you're there, like,
grateful.
and coming from a corporate environment that you're kicking butt and like this megalith to come in here and bringing all that value. What are you reading? What are you reading now? What have you read in the last year that's propelled you?
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm reading now, I alternate usually between like a real estate or a business book and a work of fiction, just to kind of, because sometimes I think you really need to unwind. Right now, so my husband, so I just got married in January.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So my husband and I moved in together before we got married, but he loves to read too. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to start reading some of his books because we have this huge library between the two of us.
Wow.
What is he reading? So I'm currently reading one of his books. It's called A Nation of Wusses by Ed Rendell.
Oh, that sounds like another tape we got.
It's actually a great book. It's I'm 50 pages in, but it's the story of Ed Rendell. We're getting through how he was elected, how he became mayor, how he became governor. But what I think is cool about the book is that he calls it The Nation of Wusses because and it's a political book, but he's basically saying nobody actually, not nobody, I'm sure people do, but his whole premise is politicians particularly, they are just saying whatever they need to say to stay in office. And to be a true leader, you have to speak the truth and you have to stick with your values, which I resonate with
the values
so much. And so that's what I'm reading now.
Wow.
A book which I think, I can apply in a million different ways, and the stories are entertaining and enjoyable. What I read within the last year, a book that has super impacted me, it's called $1 Million Women by Julia Pimsleur. And you talk about the universe, or I talk about the universe. Each year, so let me tell you what $1 Million Women is. $1 Million Women is a book that was written by an entrepreneur, Julia, who had started a company where she did videos to teach children a foreign language. Okay, so that's what her company was. And it's so it's kind of a memoir, but also a guidebook, if you will. And the reason she wrote the book is because, I don't know if you know this stat, only 3% of women-owned businesses in the U.S. ever make $1 million or more of revenue a year.
Oh, wow.
Ever. And she wanted to change that. That was her mission, to change it. So she wrote this book on how she scaled her company to over $1 million a year of revenue, right? And now she's giving back as a result of this in writing the book, but now doing all of these, coaching and seminars, and she's doing a leadership summit next month in New York City, et cetera, et cetera. And I just thought this was so cool. And it's all about confidence for women and how that is such an important thing, women and men, in building a business. You have to feel...
Well, women are willing to talk about it. Men, it's not culturally acceptable yet.
Probably I don't know if that's true, but
that's just me saying that. That's my opinion.
So this book really resonated with me. And every year I do a vision board. Do you ever do them?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think my whole life's a vision.
Yeah, everything's a vision board. And on my vision board last year, when I read this book within the last 12 months, so on the vision board for 2018, had a picture of the book, okay? I got connected with the author, with Julia, through a mutual connection probably about a year ago. Right after I had read the book, I was talking about the book, and someone said, do you want to meet her? And I'm like, yeah. So that was so cool to me because it was the universe kind of coming back at you to say, like, you're going to scale your business. You're going to build it bigger and bigger. You're part of the 3%. Keep going and move on. And I just was so inspired by that.